What's up, my folks? I am hoping everyone is having a good morning or whenever this finds you. I keep forgetting it takes sometimes all day to do these videos. But I want to answer a few people. I've been going through a few emails here and there and skimming through when I can. I want to tell all you guys, man, I appreciate every one of y'all. I don't want anyone thinking I'm ignoring you or not answering you or anything, but I try to communicate with you when I can, but and answer your questions. But I wanted to go ahead and go over a few things. You know, I don't want y'all to think I don't pay attention to your comments either. I take everything you say in consideration. And one of the things I had a long time ago, I remember, was a question about what we do when it's cold. Well, like this, today I've been cleaning out all the barrels. It's been raining buckets. See, we have one extreme to the next. Yesterday was 70 degrees and it was raining buckets and nasty and flooding us out, washing piers away on the house, everything else. And today it's frosty, cold, windy as hell, and freezing. So what you got to do is every time I clean out their houses, because they go in and out and get them wet and nasty, change their water, then I put a good layer, bed layer of chips in there. Now I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, I use hay also. I use the brown hay. People talk about having trouble with hay, and some dogs do have trouble with hay. But I try to get with these cowboys around here, these old cattle farmers, and get into their older square bales if I can, and find stuff without ants or stickers or anything in it. And I pack their houses slap full of hay, and I'm gonna go get some here in a little bit. You know, some people use straw, but the bedding, I like to use the hay in the dead of winter because it gives them more of an insulation factor around it. If it gets too bad, I got to take them and put them in kennels and put separators in them and put the heat on them. Like this year, I got this bitch bred and I got my white face bitch bred, so I'm gonna have 2 litters of puppies that I'm gonna have to tend to. And you know, the climate control thing's a big deal. You know, it's just common sense. It's not a theory or anything of mine, but I'm just saying when puppies get cold, they die. One thing I've done is I make my brooder box, and then I put a vent on one side with a steel plate over it, so I'll slide this over to the corner here, and I'll just put my heat direct lamp, my infrared heat lamp on the side there. And direct the heat into that box, and that'll keep that little box toasty warm. That's one brooder. I got to build another one. So that's one way to do it, is you can do it with a heat lamp. They make pads you can put underneath them. But as far as what we use in our barrel houses, the main key is to have good dry bedding and use a lot of straw or hay if you can. Now, like I said, some dogs, people say they get sick from hay and all that. And another thing I do is I feed. Like, for instance, say you got 10 dogs, 15 dogs you want to feed, add you a tablespoon of mayonnaise per dog in the feed, mix it with some hot water, and mix it all up real good with that mayonnaise in there. That's getting a lot of fats on it. I'm starting to think she's showing. I'm hoping she is. She just ate a whole bunch of food, but I'll up their feed. I'll feed them in the morning and in the evening on these real cold days because they're shivering, you know. Some dogs can't handle it. These dogs I got nice and tick fat, and they can handle the cold better. You know what I'm saying, when they're tick fat like that. But like some dogs, like this little bitch right here, she can't handle the whole cold real good. Rusty can't handle the cold real good. He whines and shivers and loses all kinds of weight. So you got to add a little bit to them if you're going to leave them out. Which tonight it's supposed to get kind of cold. I'll probably bring these 2 in and put them in the kennel house. As far as the puppies go, if they get cold or they get hot, that's 2 bad things for them. That's why I suggest, you know, if you're going to raise litters and try to be successful, because I've never been successful with just having them in a box without helping them. I mean, I've always lost pups trying to do that shit. Even in the summertime. Summer's not great either. But that's pretty much how I do it. I just keep them warm like that. You know, keep their bedding dry, keep everything going, you know, where they got a lot of insulation factor around it. If you have to, you can take and box these in on the side and shove hay around the barrels too. That works if you're in a real cold area. Of course, you know, you can put a flap over the front if they won't tear them off. You guys up north, I mean, you obviously got it harder than we do in the winter. So, you know, but if we put insulated houses out down here, we'd be burning them up in the summer, you know. So it's just how it goes. But the mayonnaise trick works, guys. This dog right here don't even look like the same dog anymore. She's looking wonderful compared to what she did look like. Little bitch is she's kind of dog aggressive. You got to watch her around other dogs. She's stupid like that. Like a cur dog, real aggressive, like trying to show out on them. What are you doing, old man? You mad because I ain't talking to you? Huh? Tell him. And I wanted to talk to you guys, answer a question about bloodlines, okay? I've had some people ask me about well, a lot of different bloodlines, like what I think about this bloodline or that bloodline, and I've had a lot of people ask me what I think the hardest bloodlines is. Nowadays, I don't think there is a hardest mouth bloodline. I think a lot of that stuff that people, the dog's been selective bred good enough for, I think you got a good chance of getting a hard mouth dog out from anybody. I mean, that's just the way I feel. You know, people say, like they put these black clouds around dogs, you know, like saying things like red boy dogs can't bite or Eli dogs ain't game. Just two that's always been common. I found that that's pretty much, they fixed all that. You know what I'm saying? The breeders have fixed all the faults in a lot of the dogs. Like, you know, there's plenty. You got just as good a chance of getting a hard mouth dog from a red boy dog as you do an Eli dog hardly anymore, and you got just as much chance of getting a deep game dog from an Eli dog as you do anything else anymore. You know what I'm saying? I don't think there is a bloodline, but you know, like I had, just for instance, like someone asked me what I thought about Tom Garner's Cottingham dogs. They're Cottingham dogs. Just because Garner owns them, they're still Cottingham dogs. You know what I'm saying? Their traits should be very Cottingham dog like. You know what I'm saying? I think you got a good chance at getting a good dog from any of these breeders. If that's the bloodline you want to look at and mess with it, then do it. I mean, you might go through 10 or 12 before you get the ones you want. See, that mayonnaise is really fattening this bitch up, ain't it? She's looking a lot better. She ain't been here 6-8 days. 10 days maybe, but anyway, you know, I mean, that's just the way it is. I think that all these breeders that are breeding correctly and doing right, even all the guys on YouTube and stuff that are breeding right, if they're breeding right and selectively breeding their dogs and doing right, I think you got a real good chance of getting a good dog from any one of them. I mean, it's really 6 in one, half dozen in the other. I mean, you can't really copy bloodlines and get the results every time you want either. I mean, I'll just give you for instance, you know, like I tried to copy old Airhead Paul's dogs one time. I had the same Paladin blood, basically the same Boyle's blood as he did, and I was trying to copy the dogs that came out, like the Bandit and the Joe, the Champion Joe and the Bandit, you know, the Airhead Candy, Monster Man Candy dogs. And I had the same damn Paladin, the same Boyles. Well, my Boyles had a little Dirty Mary in it. That was about the only difference. And, you know, basically did the same breeding. And he got great usable dogs. I mean, they were what they were. They were good usable dogs. He got his, and I got a bunch of man-eating curs. You know what I'm saying? It's really the individual dogs is what I'm saying. You can't really go by bloodlines. You know what I'm saying? Just because, you know, I can tell you can see a dog from one bloodline and then look across the country and something will be totally different off somebody else's yard. You know what I'm saying? And just because one brother does good don't mean another brother's going to be good. Just because one dog produces don't mean another one's going to produce. I mean, I can't really stress that hard enough. I mean, a perfect example about luck of the draw would be when I was a kid. We used to people used to sell dogs out in the newspaper, game dogs. I mean, puppies. And I was looking through the paper and I seen game dog puppies for sale. Sparks Mauler bloodline. That's what it was advertised, Sparks bloodline. So I called the man and went and seen him. He lived down in Jacksonville, Florida. Went down to Sutel and he had a beautiful litter of puppies in the box. There were chocolate red ones and a couple black ones. Well, I'd already had enough chocolate dogs, man. The only time I ever picked a dog for color, man, I swear. And so I picked the black puppy. My black puppy, he didn't grow up being all that. And the little red one I had my hand on, my buddy was with me. He's like, get that red apple-headed one. And I said, no, I want a black dog. Well, the red one, he grew up, they ended up naming that dog Grand Champion Boogeyman. But, so that was just the luck of the draw, you know. I hadn't just as much opportunity to get him as the next guy, but I picked the black dog. It's just, that's how it is a lot of times in these dogs. You can it's just, it is what it is. That's why we always keep so many of the dogs that we breed, so we know as a percentage wise what they're good. Because like, say I kept just one pup, say I just take, for instance, I kept Tank as a 8-week-old pup and sold the rest. I think Tank's going to be a pretty exceptional dog. I might be wrong, but I think this little pup's going to be a good dog. And you know, and then everyone else took their dogs and they didn't turn out, but I had Tank. In my mind, I'm gonna think, well, them dumbasses didn't do right by the dogs. I'm continue down the same path, and then I'll get a litter of just one good one and the rest unusable. That's not real good percentages, you know. That's what I'm saying. So if you get a percentage of usable dogs, I mean, dogs that make the grade where that you can take them and put them in the dog box, and you ain't scared to go in the woods and let them loose and catch anything in front of anybody, you know. Yeah, I mean, sometimes, you know, your dogs ain't gonna hunt good, sometimes they do. I mean, it's just the way it works. They ain't always gonna be the best dogs in the woods. But you want dogs that you can use and be proud of consistently on your pups. That's the goal. And it's hard getting that. That's why I'm saying, when you get a litter that's producing good quality in, you know, everyone likes to scream, I got 100% litters and blah, 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 or 50% litters, I wouldn't have nothing. If you get 5 good dogs, real good now, the usable dogs, out of 10 every time, you're doing good. I don't give a shit what no one says. You're doing good. Now, a lot of people call these good dogs just not even fair. You know, just, they're not curs, but they ain't really good. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying real good dogs. You know what I'm saying? If you're getting 5 dogs out of 10, when you're doing your breeding, you're on track. I don't care what no one tells you. I mean, I know people that would gladly take 1 or 2 real good dogs out of a breeding. I mean, for real. I mean, if you got 1 ace every 5 breedings, you're doing good. I mean, people get wrapped up in this fantasy world and these dogs. That's why we, you know, a lot of the breeders, that's why we partner up and have kennel partners. I mean, it's not easy having kennel partners. I got lucky, but over the years, I've been, you know, I've done dealings with a lot of dog people, and I've gotten lucky, and I found 2 people who are on the same page with everything. We can agree. We ain't jealous of each other's doings, and it works out good. But I'm glad that we have it like that. That way I can keep like the whole litter, you know what I mean, and check them and see if they're any good before I do repeats and stuff. So there's a plus in that. But as far as, you know, what bloodline's going to give you the hardest mouth, or what bloodline's going to give you the deepest game, man, that you're going to have to find those dogs. Good dogs are where you find them. There ain't no bloodline that's a magic wand. That's the truth. Okay, so you guys understand that shit. It's the clicks. So if you find a click that's working, I don't give a shit if it's from if it's a Boyle's Cowboy, Serona, fucking Razor's Edge. If he's putting out freaking unbeatable dogs, it's no hog in the woods he can stop anything in the woods. I mean, who's to argue with you? You know, I'm not going to argue with you. But you know, for the most part though, you got to stick with good solid lines to get good dogs. So I understand. I had some emails with people talking about they had this dog in their dog or staff and he was a great dog. I understand it happens. You know, you might not be giving yourself credit either. You might be a hell of a dog man, and that dog wouldn't have worked for anybody else but you. You know, you got to think of that too. And a lot of things is you got to think about in these dogs too, is the dog man behind it. Just because they do good for them don't mean it's going to do good for you. You know, so it's a lot to think about when you're going to messing with these dogs. All right, guys, y'all take care and keep on bulldogging.